Hello, hello. Okay, we are talking about something really fun. We're talking about how to simplify travel. How do we make it easier, more enjoyable, less stressful to travel with our families? I love traveling. Love it. I am such a fan of traveling. I mean, if you somehow don't know this, my family and we traveled for 8 solid months with 3 kids, my husband, myself, our 3 kids. And it was incredible. One of the most incredible experiences of my lifetime. Today, I am super excited because my guest is Addie from Verbal Gold Blog. And Addie happens to be an Atlanta-based influencer who specializes in luxury travel. This girl travels all the time, all over the place. She is a serial entrepreneur, boy mom, and a #1 best-selling author. And we are going to be talking all about travel. We are going to talk about our own tips and tricks and hacks and how we have made traveling with the kids, she with a toddler, me with, at this point, teenagers, how we make it all just a little less frantic, chaotic, busy, and a little more blissful. So let's jump in. As promised, today we are jumping into simplifying travel and how we can make it more accessible, more doable, more fun, less frantic, all the things. So I have Addie Meshke of Verbal Gold Blog with me, and she is a travel, do I call you a travel influencer, travel blogger, all of the things?
Travel blogger. For 11 years, I've been doing this full-time for about 6 now, and it has been such a fun career to just, evolve with, honestly.
I mean, seriously, anyone who has the travel bug, right? Like, who can't love the idea of being like, I get paid to go places and do fun things, but you also have a toddler. So one of the things I'm really excited about is I have teenagers, you have toddler, we both love to travel. How do we make this possible when we want to travel with kids and when we want to have these experiences and all those things? So my very first question is, what do you say to all the people who are we've heard it, you better get all the travel in before you have kids, or all the people who are I'd love to take that trip, but I'm gonna have to wait because I have kids. What's your answer to them?
I get it. I totally get it. It can be scary, especially if you're on your own. It's just the unknown, but it's totally possible. And I like to just tell people, if kids live there, if there are children in that country, you can absolutely travel to the destination with kids. It's definitely possible. It's doable. They're going to love it. I mean, my kid asks me almost every day, honestly, when are we going to the beach? When are we going on vacation? And we'll play trucks, and he'll be like, I'm like, where are all your cars going? He's like, to the beach. They're on vacation. He plays vacation now. He gets excited about it. He wants to go, and it's such a great educator too. He's learned so much, and it's opened up his mind. So I promise it is so worth it.
I love that. Okay, so just for the sake of curiosity, I want to know what's the longest you've traveled for a period of time, and this question is so hard for me, so I'm already going to preface, I know how hard this question is, but people always want to know where's your favorite place you've been? And I'm that person who's always I have to tell you a few, right? But longest duration, favorite place you've been to.
The longest duration would be 4 weeks.
Okay. Amazing.
During the time that we remained at home, I was getting the travel bug, and I was like, I'm going to go crazy in these 4 walls. But I was like, I need 4 walls that move. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted an RV ever since I was little. I don't know why that was my goal, but I used to tell my parents, I was like, I'm going to get us an RV and we're going to travel all over the country. So I ended up buying one. I just bought one for myself, and we took off. We went out west. We did this whole loop. Colton was probably 6 months, maybe a year. Maybe he was a year old, and we were gone for about 4 weeks. And I had to come home because I had a trip planned with Mexico. But if I didn't, I would have probably never come home. It was so much fun, and he loved it. I have pictures of him as a toddler, on the salt flats in Utah, and we get these tiles made, and we do one tile for all of his trips. So now he has this collage of everywhere that we went, his little travel blogger photos, and they're so cute. And then you asked, let's see, what my favorite place was to travel with kids would be beaches in Turks and Caicos. Honestly, it was amazing because this is a great trip for a beginner. It's a great beginner family trip or a first-time mom trip if you're traveling with your kids and you don't want to get overwhelmed and you're a little anxious or nervous, because not only do they have a kids water park and everything there is kids friendly, they have the Sesame Street characters and they have Kids Club. Kids Club is like
Magic.
magic. And they offer nannies too. They offer babysitting services and nanny services where you can have a nanny with you full time. But if you want a vacation with your kids, it's great. You can do that. But if you just need like a little minute, you can drop them off at Kids Club. They're highly vetted nannies and babysitters. They're absolutely incredible. They do fun activities. They hang out with Sesame Street characters. And Colton was so happy there. He loved going. And then you could just pick him up anytime you want. And it's totally included with your vacation. So I would say, as the first time we were like actually going international with Colton, that was the trip where I was like, yes, this is easy.
Absolutely. Okay, so there's different types of vacations. And
yeah,
right? Like let's just break that down really quick. There are different types of vacations. So you've got the fully DIY to all the way to fully all-inclusive. It's like done for you. And you kind of have to figure out what you like. But then within that, there is also like from RV, which my husband has wanted this forever. I have had the hardest time jumping on board. So I'm like, love getting to talk to you about this.
Now I'm a side hustle queen. And
yes. So I actually sent him some of your reels because he wants an RV so bad. And I'm like, I mean, I can get on board if like it's all being paid for. So tell me a little bit about your side hustle with the RV because it's freaking brilliant.
It's a side hustle in two ways, because as an influencer, I work with RV platforms to promote the platform. So I've been paid 5 figures on that end. But then on the other end, I was like, okay, well, we got back from this incredible 4-week vacation. What am I going to do with this RV in my driveway? You know? And I was like, share the love. I have no problem sharing my RV with people. It is the next step for me into owning an investment property, which is my goal right now. And I want to just try it myself. So I listed it only on Outdoorsy. It was the only platform I use. There are a ton, but I was like, I don't really know. I just want to try one. And we did. The first week, I had $16,000 in bookings. And then I learned the ins and outs. Like, you know, I was like, oh, I should raise my rates. I should do for summer. You know, I should do all these other things. So I started doing that. And I think right now it's $350 a night for our RV that sleeps 8 people.
That is so crazy.
Booked out. Like in June alone, it grosses $9,000. And so it's basically just from 1 month is paid for the entire year. Everything.
Yeah, you're not paying a penny, right? Like one of the beautiful things about this, and so we did this, but through vacation rental, through an investment property, not through the RV, right? So like your ultimate goal is really to bring in enough bookings that you don't pay anything. You are not paying, you know, the cost of whether it's the RV payment or the mortgage or whatever it is. And you've been able to do that with the RV. You're not paying anything when you use it.
No, I'm not paying anything. I wrote an entire blog post breaking down the numbers to how much insurance costs, the RV, and then we pay to park it at a U-Haul, like how much all that costs versus how much we make. And it's definitely a profit. And then I am listing it to sell because I'm going into the investment property world now. And the RV is listed at $40,000 more than I bought it because of the time
everything because of everything,
all the things.
Yeah,
the demand is everyone wants to be in an RV right now. So I was like, okay, I had people messaging me to buy it. I was like, okay, I'll just sell it, you know?
Yeah.
And if I wanted another one down the road, I can do that because I always envisioned taking an RV to like Colton's, you know, sports games or something if he plays sports.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I won't save it for that long. I'll just get another one.
Get another one. Right. You can absolutely. So I love this. So
cars are liabilities. It's actually an asset.
In this case, it is 100%. Like when you are able to book it out and make it more profitable than its cost, this has become an asset, which is so cool. So we have like from the scale of like going camping to RVing to your style of RVing, where it's actually paying you to do it, to DIY vacations, right, where you're planning and you're booking everything yourself, all the way to the all-inclusives, where you show up, all the food is taken care of. You literally don't. One of my favorite things about all-inclusives with kids is that, and I'm sure you feel the same way. So, and I have teenagers and they are complete foodies, is that they're always thinking about where we're going to eat, what we want to eat. When I am at an all-inclusive, I'm like, sure, get room service 10 times. Sure, get as many of them as you want. Of course you can have more, because it is all included, which is so, you get to be so generous and like not even think twice, which is so nice.
So great with a kid that wants like chicken nuggets or spaghetti or mac and cheese or this, and you're like, okay, this place has it all, so you don't have to be, stuck in this one hole of food or, spend all this money at a nice restaurant when you're like, this place has, I don't know, 15 restaurants and you can get whatever you want and we can have it delivered. It's like, take your pick.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Easier. Okay, so how, I think that the process of choosing where you want to go and then packing and like planning can be stressful for a lot of people, right? So how do you choose where you want to go? How do you plan what you want to do? I'm asking too many questions. We can break this down, and then we'll go into packing.
Yeah. Really just what's on my list. I am a beach vacation expert at this point, I like to say. That is my preferred type of destination, is somewhere where there's water. It just is calming. It helps me to be there. And it's great for kids too, because there's so many beach activities. You can build a sandcastle. We can walk on the beach. Just staring at it and hearing the ocean waves is like my vibe. So I prefer that. To make things easy, which is what you asked, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. How do we simplify this?
Simplified. Okay. I like to get out a packing table and a rack, like a rolling rack. I know the normal person might not have these things, but you can use your bed if you want to. And as a previous overpacker, okay, I just got really tired of paying the baggage fees and be like, oh ma'am, your bag's overweight, and they'd be like $100 both ways. So I was like, okay, I need to fix this. So first I started packing those little foldable nylon bags in my suitcase for the overweight, and then I was like, okay, do better. Instead, when you're packing, you generally just grab stuff out of your closet and throw it in the suitcase. But what I learned is that by laying it out and actually like planning the outfits essentially, and like what you can mix and match, or coordinating looks with your kids if you want to do one of those family photos, having it out and then selecting and then remembering like, I'm only going to be gone for 7 days. I just need 7 outfits, not 30. I packed 40 outfits for one trip one time. I was like, what was I thinking? I don't know. And then you use compression bags, and every compression bag belongs to a member of your family. So like Mike, my husband, has his own. I have mine, and Colton has his. And I'm sorry, but you cannot overfill that bag. Like that's it. This is your bag. And if you can fit all of your clothes in a compression bag, you can definitely pack in a carry-on. And I am team carry-on.
We are too. Yes.
Okay. But the carry-on matters. All carry-ons are not created equal. Your carry-on I had about 15 until I donated a lot of them. And I would line them up front and sideways. First off, I like Base. Base is like my preferred luggage company because their carry-on is the largest, but still within the specs. And also they have that extender, and the extender is key because you have to be able to extend the luggage because it's going to be packed. It's going to be packed full.
And then especially when you're trying to fit it all in a carry-on. Believe me, every square inch really matters. And you're looking at the different carry-on sizes, even down to if people are thinking about their carry-on luggage right now, the way that the handle goes in, does it go in where it like creates a bump in the luggage and so you have these weird like divots, or is it behind it and you have a full box? Like you really do start to notice and pay attention, like what is the maximum that the airline lets me have? I need it all.
I need it all. I'm crazy, yeah. Even down to like when Colton was in diapers, we'd space bag the diapers so they would remain flat and you could bring your own. And then I was like, okay, well, what can I bring in my carry-on? Because I know the diapers are going to be gone. You know, I don't want that like hole there. So even just down to like planning that stuff. But those two are my top tips for, you know, being in line with packing, and then having a go bag. So if you're female, you have all these toiletries, all this makeup, and if you have travel sizes, bless you, like go for that. But keep it in an organized, like carry-on, like little carry-on to-go bag. Having it pre-packed, it will save you so much time, I swear, because you want to get ready the morning that you're going to the airport. And then you don't want to be packing that same morning and using your same makeup that you just got ready with. So if you just have like your simple 5 little things that you need for vacation, because remember, you're not going to be doing like a whole full face on vacation, 50, 90% of the time. Just have it to go and carry it. Even if you like, as for me as a travel blogger, I have the home edit clear bins. And they're in these cabinets behind you, and they're organized like camera, GoPro, Insta 360, and then airplane bag. And my airplane bag has like the hand sanitizer, the headphones, everything you would need right there for the airplane. So it's already ready to go. I just grab it. Like if you ask me to go somewhere in an hour, I can be there.
Yeah, I am the exact same way. And I totally agree with you on this. So I have one of the organizers that hangs on the back of a door. And that has all my toiletries. It's got like 4 or 5 different sections. And over time, not all at once, but over time, I bought everything as a duplicate. So I have the travel sizes of all my hair stuff. I have, the travel sizes of all my face stuff. I have my makeup, and then, and then just like hair ties, Q-tips, all those kind of things. But it's amazing.
Black Friday and start getting the duplicates on Black Friday when the sales are.
Or promotions where it's like, we're going to give you this gift with purchase, and it's little ones. And you're like, perfect. Those all go in there. Right. So, and obviously you can, make that even easier by buying little travel kits and filling it with your own shampoo and conditioners. But the point is, it's so powerful. That's just sitting in my closet at all times. And so, we're going somewhere at least once a month, even if it's just an overnighter. And all I have to do is just grab that. And that is so easy. So I agree. That is so, so powerful and so helpful to just have those things. And I waited for so long. Like for so long, I didn't have that. And I, try to put it together. And now it's just so simple.
I was always forgetting something. And I was like,
yes,
how can I not do this anymore?
Yes. You're constantly get there and you're like, seriously? Shoot. Now I have to find where I can buy a razor or deodorant
I forgot all of it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I was in France. I had to buy all new makeup. I was like, oh God.
Yeah. You're like, nope, that's not happening. So, I so agree. Okay. So what are your favorite time-saving travel hacks?
The staying packed. You don't have to pack if you stay packed.
Okay.
So it's, for me, my look on beach vacations is a kimono. Like this is just what I will stay in. And my colors are red and pink. I just love them. And I also like, if you look on a color wheel, the blues and the greens, whatever is opposite that, those colors are going to look the best in a beach vacation. So I have my cow packs and my compression bags already packed with, 10 kimonos that are my favorite and my favorite bathing suits. And I have it ready to go. The same, just like in your pantry, if you have kids, you have the like go packs, or like you're already like your snacks that are ready to go, the grab and goes. That's kind of how I keep my travels. It's a grab and go situation, so it's already packed. And then all I need is like, what do I want to wear to dinner? Do I need a dress? What shoes do I wear? But other than that, the beach stuff and the makeup and the toiletries are already packed and ready to go in my suitcase.
I love that. And you and I both kind of talked about and said how we love carry-ons. And I want to just talk to this idea of like, if we're talking about trying to make traveling simpler, not having the airport become simpler, getting on and off the airplane becomes simpler, getting to your destination becomes simpler. Literally everything is simpler if you are not waiting at baggage. Now, sometimes it's unavoidable. Like every once in a while, you're like, we're going to Park City in a week and we will be checking snowboards and skis. And there's no way around that one, right? But
there is, though. There is. If you don't want to carry it through the airport, there's an amazing company called Lugless. Have you heard of them?
No.
It's incredible. This is how I send out giveaway stuff. You can actually, if you want, okay, how do I say this? You can send your snowboards and all of your boards there ahead of time with Lugless. And it's like the same or less, maybe $25 to ship these items ahead of time to the hotel or wherever you're going. Like, for me, I went to San Francisco and Hawaii, and I packed 2 carry-ons, and I was, because they're different temperatures. And then when I was done with San Francisco, I used lugless. I dropped it off at UPS. They shipped it to my parents' house, which is like, relatively close to where I live. And I only took the Hawaii luggage onto Hawaii. You just
That's amazing.
It's such a like a time hack. It's such a lifesaver for me. And when I was doing all these giveaways, I had all this extra luggage. I would just fill the suitcase with the giveaway stuff, and I would just ship the suitcase with lugless.
That is amazing. Okay, see, everything is possible. It's all figure outable. That is amazing.
The other time saving hack I would say for people is to use download the Flights mobile app and check in ahead of time if you're going on flights. Always check in ahead of time. Save your I think they give you the barcode now that you can scan. But I think the sooner that you check in, the more the farther up you are in line to get the complimentary upgrades. So I always try to check in right when they send that. Have the app so you can see if there's any changes or if there's delays. They'll text you. Having that is like a gold mine. You don't have to wait in line, which is why you don't have to check a bag, because you don't have a checked bag now. You have a carry-on, and you can just zip through security. And I would also say, I don't want this to be a promo for any other companies, but Clear, if you have Clear in your airport.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, TSA Pre and Clear,
oh my gosh.
I was going to say the same thing. Honestly, if we're talking about making traveling easier, these things make the difference.
Getting through
hours, and getting through the airport can be one of the most stressful parts. So when you're not checking bags, you get to you've pre-checked on your phone, you walk right in, you've got your carry-on, so you don't have to go, up and wait in a line to get up to the counter. You're just going straight to you have
TSA pre-check, you have Clear, or if you have a credit card, like American Express, the one that I have for travel, which is the Sky Miles card, it has the global entry and the TSA pre-check and Clear actually as credits.
Same with Capital One. So I was going to say the same thing. So check whatever your primary credit card is, go look, because you probably get it refunded. So for example, when we did our TSA pre and we put it on our card, we didn't even realize, and all of a sudden it just got refunded right back. We didn't have to do a thing. Not a thing. It was just refunded back. So that is amazing. You'll get it for yourselves. As long as your kids are minors, they'll be able to come through with you. Yeah. It's a little different.
Come through with me too. They're not typically that strict, but he can always come through with me because I separate our boarding passes because my status. I get to bring one person with me to first class. That's going to be my son. I'm sorry, Michael, if you're going to hear this later. So I have to separate our reservation out because if they see 3 people on the reservation, they won't upgrade me. So as soon as I book our tickets, see you later. He's off. I call Delta. He's off the reservation. So we get our upgrade. And then, he can still come through with the pre-check and the Clear with me.
Yes. Oh, this is so these are the things that once you know them, they change the game for travel, but you need someone to tell you. So I'm so glad that we're talking about all these things because we didn't know a lot of these things. I was just talking to someone who was telling me they were planning a trip, and I was like, get your TSA pre right now. You have enough time. It is so much easier than you think it is. It sounds like, oh, this is going to take so much time. It's going to be so complicated. It's not. It is a very, very fast, 5-minute form. You finish it, you go into some office, give some fingerprints. It literally took us less than 5 minutes. Yeah. And that was it. So getting Clear, getting TSA pre, getting the global, these different ones.
Security, and I think I timed it 3 minutes one time. I got through.
Oh, yeah. I fly through, and I'm not pulling out my laptop. Some airports are different, but I'm not taking my shoes off. I'm not trying to a lot of times I don't need my laptop on the actual plane. So I don't keep it in the bag that I'm going to have that has the book and my phone and my AirPods, right? So if I have to get out,
people, look at what I'm doing on my computer, so I don't ever bust it out.
Yeah, I don't bring my laptop out. So I have it in my carry-on. So I don't want to unzip my carry-on and try to pull out the laptop. This way, it's literally all just flying through. It's just lovely. Okay, so we're both...
And the global entry really helps if you're flying internationally on the way home. If you've ever seen the customs lines.
Yes.
With a kid that like doesn't want to sit still or wait in a line, how do you tell a kid like, hey, no, you have to wait here for an hour
Or more.
yeah, and you actually can't take your kids with you through global entry if they don't have their own. It's a felony apparently. So
Good to know.
sign them up too. Make sure you sign them up. And make sure your kids have passports, obviously, right when they're born. I made the mistake of waiting a little bit longer than I should have on that one. But when you sign them up, the global entry line was maybe like 3 people versus 300 people.
Yes. Yeah. Those lines can be absolutely crazy. I feel like one of the most common international destinations for a lot of US people is going to be Mexico. If you have gone to Mexico, you understand what those lines can be like and why you would want to avoid them.
The bigger the plane you're on, the longer the line.
Yeah. Yeah. And you add multiple planes coming in at the same time and wow, it can be intense.
That's like literally nothing I hate more than waiting in those lines. Because I don't have to wait for baggage either. So as soon as I have my carry-on, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. The Atlanta airport was like, I think it would be fun if we make them run a 5K right when they land because it is so far away.
Yes.
The gate. Like, what is happening? I just want to leave the airport when I'm done with vacation.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Or you get to your destination and you want to start your vacation and it's like, not yet. Please wait, through these incredible lines before the fun can actually begin. So, I definitely, I'm loving all of this. Okay. And I wanted to say just to anybody who's like, oh my gosh, how can you really do carry-ons? You don't know how many kids I have, or you don't know all these things. I want to just tell everyone, we traveled for 8 straight months. When we left, we had 2 full, we had how many? 4 full-size suitcases, plus 4 carry-ons, plus 4 backpacks. We realized real quick that was never going to work. Because on travel days, like when you're going from country to country, there are times where we are literally taking a plane, a train, a boat, a taxi.
It's the train and the boat for me, especially in Europe, the gravel roads. Like, do not overpack. You will be humbled so quick.
Oh, so quick. I mean, we're like trying to bring them down cobblestones, like yanking them behind us. The kids are melting down. They're like, we're trying to carry. It was horrible. We got rid of all of them and we were down to each of us had 1 carry-on. Each of us had 1 backpack. And
the backpack is where it's at.
Yes.
I don't care if it's cute or not, but with kids, you've got to be hands-free. There's
you've got to be available. And so we did that 6 weeks into our trip. A friend was coming. I was hosting a mastermind retreat in London, so she was coming to assist, and we were like, we are bringing all of this luggage home with you. Be prepared. We will pay for all of it, but you are taking this all back. And we went the rest of that travel with kids. So don't tell me it can't be done. I promise you can. You just rewear the same clothes. You make sure everything mixes and matches, and you do laundry if you have to, or you use the laundry service that's available. Like
countries have laundry.
Yes, they have children and laundry. Who knew?
Yeah. Crazy that other people wash their clothes too.
Isn't that so funny? Oh, I love this. Okay, so trying to think if there's any other like things that have. Oh, I know. Okay, what about great deals? What about, people are like, oh, this all sounds amazing, but how great for you two that you travel all over the world. Like, they want to try to start traveling, but it does feel very expensive. So what are your best tips for like getting great deals?
It's hard for me because again, I do get paid to travel and I'm usually booked out, but looking for the holiday deals, all the resorts and the private islands that I have worked for always have a deal on Black Friday, or they, if there is a place that you want to go, like let's say Coco Plum in Belize or Manta, they're 2 private islands that are my top favorite places to go ever. On Black Friday, they did a $500 off. Discounts like that, or you could go into Google Flights, which is what I like to use, and there's another one that's I think Skyscanner. You can set your destination.
We love Skyscanner.
Yeah, and you're like, if you just want to go to Europe, tap Europe, and then it gives you like flexible dates of when the prices are the lowest, and then you go then. We're pretty flexible. Like I will go during an off season when it's non-peak time just to save money, because the flights obviously add up for families. People with, after 2 years old, they can't sit in your lap anymore. And I'm like, crap, you have to get your own ticket. So the credit cards come in handy because you get a free companion certificate. Make sure you and your partner both have that. So you get at least 2 free companion certificates. And then I would say playing the Russian roulette on the flights and just picking Europe as the primary destination and looking at the other locations that are around that and seeing whichever one's cheaper to get to, going there.
Yeah, and so I agree with all this, and there are so many different deal sites. You got to kind of find those, get clear on which ones are good, and then don't be afraid to choose your location based on deals. So when we were traveling internationally, we frequently were making the decision on where we were going next based on the best flights we found. We had no intentions of going to Hong Kong or Japan; those were not on the list, and Japan was one of my favorite places we went.
I want to go there.
Oh, incredible. Like, okay, I'm just going to deviate for a moment, but like they take everything that they make, all food, and they figure out how to just make it better. So I am not even, this is not an exaggeration at all. The best corn dog I have ever had in my life is from the 7-Elevens in Japan. Like, and we're talking about the 7-Eleven. Never mind all the other incredible restaurants that we have. They just take
better.
Yes, they just take food and they say, how do we just make this the best? And they do. It's like the best Indian food I've ever had.
I love food in other countries. It's so fresh and so good.
Oh, it's incredible. It's so incredible. So yeah. So Japan and Hong Kong, those were not even on our radar, but we were looking for flights. We found an incredible deal and it brought us to Hong Kong. We would be in Hong Kong and then it brought us back home to the States through Japan, but with a 24-hour layover. So we just never got back on the plane.
That's a little tip right there.
Yeah. Look for layover options that you don't have to get back on the plane. You're taking, I mean, it's 24 hours. You're taking all your stuff.
Carry-on is the best.
Yes, 100%. So, that was incredible. And yes, one of the ways is make a bucket list of all the places you want to go, and then just look for what has a deal and say, okay, this is the one we're going to first because it's the cheapest.
How old were your kids when you did that?
They were 8, 10, and 11. So we really were strategic about that time frame. Our thought process was they're old enough that they can remember. They're old enough that they could, for the most part, wheel their own little carry-on, have their own backpack on. But they're young enough to where their friends are not the most important thing, and they're not so involved in whatever the high school activities were going to become that they would be like, absolutely not. And I will tell you, I am so grateful if we did it because now they have now grown and they're a senior, a junior, and a freshman. And we try to convince them all the time. So like last December, my husband and I were like, let's go to New Zealand for Christmas. Let's take
I'll be your kid.
Okay, perfect. We're like, let's go the whole time. They're like, no, we can't miss this and we can't miss that. Like
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, we keep trying to like convince them our crazy ideas that we have. And, they're frequently like, no, we have this and this and this. They're much more...
you just need to drop little nuggets around and be like, do you know what New Zealand has this time of year? Blah, 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 blah. And just like drop like ways to hype them up without saying, be like, you know what? And then make them come to you like, you know what? We should go to New Zealand.
Yes. Yeah. I'm working on it. My youngest, he's all for it. He is like, we come up with an idea, and that's why I love your RV thing. Cause him and my husband have this vision. They really want to get an RV. They're both huge. They love skiing. And so they want to go they already take every weekend they can and fly and go to some resort. So they want to go to like have an RV and go from resort to resort to resort over like, a couple of weeks or something like that, where they could just ski all over, all those major mountains. So they love that idea. It's just when you talk about all 5 of us inside of that, and they're all grown up bodies now because they're teenagers, they're not little. I'm like,
the tow behind, there's different kinds of RVs. There's the C class, the A class, which is like the bus, and then the smaller ones like the tow behinds. Those are perfect for families because they have rooms where you can close the door.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I just need to know, I like my alone time. Like I'm really a fan of hanging out with myself.
Our C class has a door that you can shut, which is why I got it, because Colton was a baby. He needed nap time.
Yes.
But we still wanted to be in the front watching TV, doing whatever. So we made sure the back room had a closing door.
That is so brilliant. Yeah, we're trying to figure out like, okay, what is this RV going to be? But it makes it a whole lot easier when you're like, and I will just make it pay for itself, right? Like that's amazing.
If you rent one for as long as you're talking about going, they're kind of expensive. But I did hear of an app. Oh God, I can't think of it right now. And you only pay $1 to rent it because somebody needed the RV and they drove it to your city and then they didn't want to drive it back, so they left it there. So the companies will pay you a dollar, or you pay them $1 to drive it back to whatever, to
the destination of where it needs a home base. Oh, that's so fascinating.
You can apply and you'll just be the driver and you get to go see all these new cities and states. And I was like, that is a really good idea. I want to do that.
There are some really cool things like that. I mean, that, which I hadn't even heard of. There's the home, there was ones that we saw and heard of people doing when we were full-time traveling, where they were going to other countries and staying in someone's home to take care of their cats and dogs. Sitters. Yes, home sitters. Like that was amazing. You create this little profile and like say why you're qualified, and then you can submit and people can pick you, and then you don't even have to pay for the location. Like you're staying.
That is literally on my list of things to do right now, because they said if you build up your portfolio of house sitters in your current location, you'll be like the first to get the alerts in like Paris and New Zealand.
Yes. Because I was looking at them in Australia. I was looking at them in England, Ireland, Scotland. I mean, they're all over. And so, it's so amazing. Yeah. So there are ways. Like, I just want people to know if they want to see
have a whole house.
Yeah.
You get a whole house that way.
Yeah. How amazing is that? You're not even paying for a hotel. You have space for everybody. Like you're getting to take care of some animals, water some plants. Like that's amazing. So there are ways to travel. If this is something that, somebody wants to do, the first thing is just going to be to really start dreaming about it and decide like, I'm going to make this happen, and then define what it looks like. Maybe you only have a week a year. Okay. That's okay. Like, when is that going to be? How much flexibility do you have? What would you like it to look like? Maybe you have more time. Great. That's going to make it a little easier. And then start figuring out what the budget is. And there is a way, there is an option.
Absolutely.
I truly believe for everyone to be able to go travel and experience. And it really is incredible. I mean, some of our favorite and best memories are traveling, not because of the incredible things we did, which, don't get me wrong, like that is so cool, but it was because everything else gets stripped away. All of the schedules, all of the obligations, all of the places that you would you're supposed to be at, it disappears, and it just becomes your little unit together, just being able to be fully present and
all these new experiences together.
Yes, it's so powerful.
It's such a great introduction to other cultures and types of people. As someone who wrote a book about body positivity and trying to end like bullying for kids, I feel like even just, growing up in your bubble, you're used to these types of people, and being able to get out and see different cultures and different types of people, it just opens your eyes, and it's like it opens the world around you and within you. I feel like it's just very inspiring, and it's great for kids to experience that. And, when Colton was starting to talk, we'd pull him out of daycare, go on these trips, bring him back, and they'd be like, he's like 5 now. What happened? And I'm like, oh, we just traveled. He gets to experience all that, and I feel like it's such a great educator. I can't say that enough, that I will always be traveling with kids. I think it's so great.
I agree. I feel like our kids being able to be aware and recognize just how small and big the world is at the same time, the connection we have with people everywhere. We really made a focus of talking about the lessons we were learning from other cultures and really having those conversations. And in fact, we had a family over for dinner last night, and we were telling them about how every country we went to, we would go to church on Sunday. Every single country.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea.
And it was amazing, right? And every time we would get to, meet these new people in this new country, They were so generous, so kind to us. We stopped buying food for Sunday nights because in 8 months, I think there were only 2 Sundays that someone did not offer to have us for dinner. I mean, complete strangers just showing up, and they'd be like, you should like have dinner with us. Someone would reach out to us. It was so beautiful. And we've talked about that so many times. Like, this is the kind of people we want to be. We want to be like, look for the person who's new. Look for the person. And we bring that into them at school. We bring that into them in any situation, right? Like, we have to look up from our phones. We have to look up and see who's around us and notice who needs us. And that was one of the most beautiful examples throughout our traveling. I cannot tell you how many times we would be lost, unsure of what to do. We're in a country where we do not speak the language, and someone would see us and walk up and without even being able to communicate, offer to help. We were in a train station in Tokyo, no idea where we were supposed to be going, worried we're going to miss our train. This sweet woman recognizes it, comes up and motions. You know, we're just trying to talk through like our hands because we don't know how to communicate with each other. Looks at our phone, knows what we're trying to do, motions for us to follow, brings us all the way to our train, makes sure we're on it. We had that happen in Scotland. We had that happen in Japan. We had it happen in Hong Kong. I mean, all over the world. Like, it's just, there's so many beautiful lessons that we can learn of how to just be more generous in spirit, I believe, like in traveling. So that's another plug for why I think traveling is so amazing.
Yeah, agree. And trains are tricky, especially in other countries.
They're so intimidating.
It's so tricky. I've gone to the wrong place 1,000 times.
Yes, you're like, oh man. Yeah, we had some mess ups.
Here, it's not fair, you know?
We are not the same when it comes to the way they do transportation in other countries versus us. It's like shockingly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not understand that until I actually went to other countries and was like, oh, now I get it. Okay. All right. So my final question for you is, if you could convince a busy mama to do just one thing for her to feel more balanced, what would it be?
I would say self-care is a big check on that list. Taking actual time for me. I learned this from my therapist when she was like, what do you do? What is your mindfulness? And I was like, getting my nails done. And I go get my hair done. She was like, no, that is just at this point, like mandatory, you know.
Right. It's a chore. Like, it's lost the luster of like, yeah.
Exactly. She was like, you need to practice mindfulness, like writing in a journal, dancing to your favorite music around your kitchen, like go outside, sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Things like that to just bring you back and like kind of regulate your hormones, and your nervous system, you know, practice your deep breaths, listen to your favorite song. I've been listening to podcasts on this app called Headway. And I listened to 104 books in 1 year because it just gives you like a summary, and you can listen to motivational books, self-help books, but it's kind of like my me time. I make my favorite cup of coffee or my avocado toast in the morning, and I just have like a routine, and it makes me so happy. I absolutely love it. And, you know, I write down things in my gratitude journal, and I was telling my husband about this and saying it out loud. It felt so cheesy, and I was like, yeah, whatever, you know, it won't work. It's been 1.5 years that I've been doing this, and it has completely changed my life.
I so agree. I cannot emphasize enough the power of a gratitude practice. I have seen the most dramatic difference, and I felt the same way. I'm like, it's hard to explain to someone, like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, so it doesn't seem like it would do that much, but it has so much power. So the thing, just for funsies, the thing that I've added this year is still doing my gratitude. Okay. There's amazing research around, I've done other podcast episodes about this, but around like, there's different ways you can do gratitude. They've shown massive power in either choosing 3 things and kind of writing a paragraph around them to really contemplate, or just writing 10 things you're grateful for and choosing whatever works for you every day. But what I've added this year is 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 wins. I realized that I'm really, really good at noticing the blessings in my life that are, you know, because of other people, but I wasn't noticing my own accomplishments enough, like to boost me and help me to feel more powerful in like trying new, harder, bigger things.
Yeah.
And so by adding the 3 wins, it's like, I'm looking like, I did really good with the kids today in handling that situation. Or like, I checked this off the list and that was going to be hard. Or I got that workout done and like, yay me. So I'm doing that component with the gratitude to like, try to just like level up a little. But I agree. Gratitude.
Journals that I didn't love. The one that I love the most is the 5-minute journal. I'm sure. I think that went viral last year, honestly. But I think it was that one, and then there's one that someone came out with. Those 2 are the best. Actually, time out. I have it right here. This one. It's called Notes to Self. This little journal. I don't know if you've seen this.
No, I haven't.
Intelligent Change. Oh, Chelsea. So the blogger from Hawaii, Chelsea Kauai.
Okay.
She came out with this journal, and just the way that she does it, the prompts that are there, it's like my absolute favorite.
Okay. We will link. We've talked about so many things. So I want people to know if they're like, there was a lot of things I want to know what they are. We will link to everything in the show notes so that everyone will be able to find all of these great things that we talked about. Addie, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. This has been so fun. I could talk to you about travel forever. Like
we're just getting started.
I know. I'm like, I could just keep going and going and going. So thank you
so much for having me, and hello, and thank you for listening to your incredible audience and community. I'm so happy to be here. And come check me out at Verbal Gold Blog on Instagram. Come say hi.
Yes.
I would love to meet you guys.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll make sure we're linking so you can find her even easier. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Oh man, are you feeling as inspired as I am? I want to grab my passport and book a trip right now. I am ready for an adventure. I am ready to go. I hope you pulled some amazing nuggets. This is definitely an episode that is worth going to the show notes because I am going to link to the resources that we talked about so that you can get to all of them, figure out what they were, and utilize them. But my challenge to you and what I hope is that you will take action, even if that is just taking a few minutes right now to dream about a vacation with your family and all of the magic, the memories, the moments that could be created by going. I believe in action. I believe in doing the things. We can't just talk about it. We can't just think about it. We have to do something. And so as we're talking about balancing busy, I'm always going to ask you to think about what could I take from this episode and do something with? Now, this is a really fun episode to do something with because we talked all about travel. So how can you get started? Do you need to just start by getting your passport set up? Do you need to start by getting that TSA pre or clear? Do you need to start by picking where you want to go next? How could you start? What would be one single step that you could take that gets you closer towards another or a new adventure with your family? These are the good old times. They're happening right now. Let's enjoy them. Let's make the memories. I definitely have no regrets for any of the memories that we have made. They are my most cherished possession. And well, they're not actually a possession. All I have left are, maybe a few trinkets and the photos on my camera, but those are so precious. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you will think about how you can take action from it. Make sure you check out the show notes for all of the resources we talked about, and I will see you next week as we look for more opportunities to simplify so that you can do less but better.